Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to Shifting Lanes 2. My name's Chad, and today, well, yes, the Mustang is out and about. It's the first day in the 50s and God knows how long here. But today isn't about the Mustang. You might recognize the driveway behind me. Today, we're going to talk to Greg. And did he make a mistake selling his V70R for the V60 Polestar? There he is. And, well, probably you wanted to see more of that than that.
What's up? Welcome to MTV
But what's going on?
Cribs. Hello. Welcome to my house. It's $1 million bajillion dollars. Actually, no, it's just a house in New Jersey.
I don't know if our editing team is gonna make that look cool.
What's up, editing team? Welcome to my crib.
What's up, y'all?
So this is my V60 Polestar.
Father of two.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, man, real quick.
Yeah.
You got this. Now in the last video you made a couple, we'll just say points.
Yes.
Or why you sold the VR
Yeah.
in favor of this.
Right.
The back of the book, real quick, remind the viewers why that was.
So I sold the V70R to get this because the V70R was basically like, it was an older car, still a Volvo, still safe. But I had the V70R and I also had an E90 M3, which was supercharged, and 15 to 20 year old Volvo with electrical problems and temperamental German V8 with known tolerance issues in the engine. Not the two most reliable cars on earth. So I sold both of those and got this, and that was the real reason, honestly, was to get this. Is more reliability, a bit more safe with modern technology, and it's just a cool car too.
So what you're saying is you got this, you're doing that thing that we said we'd never do and be an adult.
I mean, yes. Yeah, it's more, adulting is the answer, correct.
This is my version of adulting. We saw it earlier. Yes, not the Juke, the Mustang. That one.
Yeah.
Right there. But real quick, man, what do you regret the most about having this and not a V70R?
I mean, so there's 3 real categories of why this car is not as good as the V70R, and that's basically the 3 categories of regret. This does not come with a manual transmission. The M66 manual transmission and the V70R is a really good transmission. Obviously, row on your own. I really love manuals. It's just great. This sounds outstanding, but it's not a Volvo 5-cylinder engine. So that's the other thing. And the 3rd category is cargo space. V70 just has a bigger boot, honestly. This has sort of that like sloped hatchback wagon sort of feel.
I just want to cut you off there because this has been annoying me for literally 2 decades. Grew up in America. That is the trunk, not the boot.
Yeah, but
That is the hood, not the bonnet.
Yeah.
You've spent like 3 weeks in England total in 37 years.
Look, I got relatives in England and we got fans in England, so I'm catering to you guys over in England and Sweden. What's up? Calling it the boot today for you guys.
Hey, he might be the Volvoist, but I'm the real one. At any rate, but speaking of that engine,
Yes.
to quote the great Paul Walker, pop the hood.
Pop the hood?
Pop the hood.
It's sort of a compact package. There's really not a ton of room in here. Apart from like down in the front.
Apart from all that room.
There's not I mean, engine cover off. I'm not gonna take anything off right now, but like, there's not a ton of room to work in here. Like you can see like from the engine back to like the firewall, there's a huge crumple zone. Yes, but they did that as like the crumple zone. Like
That's what those are for.
this whole thing is a crumple zone.
Yeah, so is it on the Mustang.
Volvo views all of this. Volvo views the engine as a crumple zone.
Now, I don't know if you're the right person to ask, but
Probably not.
Is this an evolution of the white block that was in the T5s that we know and love?
Not really, no. I mean,
So it's a clean sheet?
It sort of is, but it's not. Like, if you look at like literature online, like it'll say, oh, it's an evolution of a 5-cylinder, but it's not. This is an SI6, which is a fully developed and designed engine from Volvo, but it was built by Ford. So Volvo, increased their Ford relationship. At this point, they were owned by Geely, which is the Chinese company that bought them out from Ford, and they just tapped Ford as like a builder of this engine. Essentially, they designed it, developed it themselves. It's a whole totally Volvo built and developed engine. Just Ford built it essentially because they had the relationship from the past.
Now, with that relationship, would this be better with a Barra?
I mean, yes, everything's better with a barrel. Yeah,
So-
I mean, you got a spare barrel lying around? Let's toss it in this.
His words, not mine. I'm usually the one with crazy engine swap ideas. He's the sensible one. Well, he's in the middle. I'm the least sensible. Greg's kind of in the middle. And then you have Captain Sensible Pants in Hanson, the guy who refuses to mod his Veloster Ed.
Other than an intake.
That's not modding. He made it worse.
No way, it sounds awesome.
But it's a hot air intake.
Yeah, but it sounds great. It's fine, whatever.
Now, I can attest that because I did put an intake on the C30 and it did make great turbo noises and lift off wastegate noises and things like that. So real quick, just remind me, what are the specs on this motor?
So for the 6-cylinder engine, which this is, because you only got 6-cylinder in 2015 and 2016, 345 horsepower, 362 pound-feet of torque.
And what is the potential for this engine? Are they strong, or are they like most Volvo and they're built to a point?
They're pretty strong from what people are doing with the 6-cylinder engine. It's pretty strong. You know, people are getting. I think I've seen a couple with over 400 at the wheels for horsepower and about 500 pound-feet at the wheels for torque. But at that point, I believe the transmission is what's limiting these. You can get a little bit more power out of the 4-cylinder because of the better 8-speed transmission in the 2017 Plus
so
version.
What you're saying is to get the best power out of this, M66 swap.
Yes, if we could M66 swap this, I probably would. But the problem is that doesn't exist, and there is there's a company called KT4 out there, which, you know, opinions are out on that particular company, but they have an option on their website that says manual swap these, and it's a cost of like $28,000. It's because no one's really kind of cracked it yet. So if someone does it, I'm in.
Does that have to do with the fact that, like, is this an integrated harness? So like body computer, transmission controller?
I haven't really dug into it yet, so I don't know.
Like, so like it's not like on some cars, the ECU is completely separate. So manual swaps are pretty easy. But if it's all tied, I'm guessing it is.
There is nothing for that, so I don't honestly know.
Right. But officially, I'd like to finally welcome you to the Straight Six Owners Club.
Yay, Straight Six.
Hanson and I both had Straight Sixes, if you remember. Well, you might not remember Hanson's because it was a BMW long before shifting lanes. Yeah. And you all remember the IS300 that I regret. I regret selling. But I mean, it led to, you know, a Mustang, so I guess it's not all bad.
Yeah. I haven't really had a chance to performance drive this thing yet, so we're gonna probably.
Wait, you've owned it for a year and haven't performance driven it?
No, because we wanted to wait to make the videos for you guys. So I haven't done any like track driving or anything. I also wanted to like really get a feel for the car before I give you guys anything on it, because I feel like no YouTubers do that. They always just buy a new car like, hey, I got this car. I waited a year, so I really like know the car from a performance on the street perspective. But from driving on the street, no.
What is this?
This is coffee, actually. It's drive coffee. They have different like things, but it's cool. It's like great packaging.
You have a GT40 on your coffee.
Yes.
I guess it's better than, you know, a mountain in Colombia.
Yeah.
But
at any rate, it's a great car. I like it a lot, and it's really cool. Do I regret selling the VR? I mean, yeah, like every single day. But as a replacement, this is really like as good as like performance Volvo as you can humanly get. This is like the last real performance Volvo they made. Even considering the new SPA ones of the Polestar engineered, this is actually just as fast in the quarter mile as that. I think the new ones are like 13.3. This is 13.5 from factory. So it's pretty much there. It's just the new one's crazy heavy because it's got a hybrid system. So
now let's put that all into perspective. If you were on the live stream, I think it was this past week.
Yep.
By the way, if you haven't subscribed to Shifting Lanes Live, go do that. We're live every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is where we do a lot of different talking. Greg and I have been trash talking quite a bit on there.
Link in bio.
That's why we pay him the bucks. $0. Clearly you're doing okay for yourself. But like, that's interesting because if you're doing 13.8s, if this is, let's just say, perfect situation and perfect launch, good air, all that other sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's an automatic, so the launch is easier than in a manual.
Yeah.
That makes this, in its perfect setting, only 0.3 faster than the fastest I've gone in the Mustang with terrible launches.
Right. So
it actually,
on paper, it's a pretty good. It's a pretty good battle.
It is a fair fight. The last time the Mustang has been modded since it was last on the track, but nobody sees a race between that car and that car being anywhere near close. But that's what it is. All on the driver, all on
the technology, really.
Swedish electronics and ingenuity and genius and things like that. So I cannot wait. I mean, it's February now. Track opens end of March.
Yeah, so we got like a month or two.
We got a month to get ready for Race Wars. I mean, yes. So
it's gonna slay at Race Wars.
So this is the part of the video that I'm sad to say for some of you who've sent some, we'll say, mildly disturbing letters our way. This is the part where we wave Greg goodbye.
Bye, buddy.
And we're gonna hop back in the Mustang. I'm gonna tell you real quick my plans for her, and more importantly, for a lot of you, what the plans for the C30 are and where we're going with that particular car. So I'll see you in 3, 2. Okay, real quick, the Mustang. Plans for the Mustang were originally to make a 10-second car. Now, I have every confidence that it's gonna make enough power, have the right driveline, have the right gearing, have all that stuff to be theoretically capable of 10 seconds. The problem is twofold. One, me, I'm still getting back into drag racing and I haven't quite nailed the launch on this thing. And two, making that process even harder is the track we use the prep is good, it's just not as sticky as some other tracks. So getting that perfect launch is really gonna be a moving target and something I'm gonna really have to work on if I'm gonna come close once boost is applied to her. So in the short term, the plan is to basically make this a GT500 tribute car, i.e. make it look like a GT500, have the power of a GT500, but have a manual. As we all know, the GT500 is an amazing vehicle. The only problem is it's got a dual clutch, and while at 760 horsepower, that is probably the best idea for everyone out there, probably myself included. The fun of having a manual transmission just simply cannot be replicated, so I'm gonna make this like a manual version of a GT500. So engine, suspension, brakes, the whole nine, and it's gonna look the part with a ton of carbon fiber bits. Now, the C30, which is right over there, let's go talk about that. When we last left the C30, she had a caster issue, and unfortunately, I still haven't fixed that. We still have a caster issue, even though I replaced the front subframe. Short-term plans for this car? Well, right now, I wanna get that caster issue figured out. I wanna get these headlights either replaced or do a better job of restoring them. I have a boost gauge wiring issue that should be simple as connecting them. I think they came loose because we didn't use the right products for it to actually fasten them in permanently. But there's the C30. And if you want your proof of life, there it is. It is, I don't know if that's coming through, but it was February 23rd and I still have the C30. Now, longer term plans with this car, that's a little bit more up in the air. I'm not really 100% sure where I want to go with this once I get her sorted. Pretty much everything that can be done to these cars has been. So, all-wheel drive, bigger turbos, all that sort of stuff. It's all been done. I like to do things that are kind of original, and let's face it, I am a content creator, so being original is something important. Right now, the Mustang, I have a huge financial investment in that car, so I am going to be finishing that first. I have something in the neighborhood of like $15,000 worth of parts sitting around waiting to go into her. So we're gonna get that done. Once I have all the parts, it should be done pretty quick. As for the C30, again, this is where things get tricky. I want to do something different. I want to do something original, but the problem with that is that usually comes with a bigger price tag. Where my head originally goes, if I can swing it, if I can afford it, is I'd like to do something in the vein of an S2000 tribute car. I'm not talking about the Honda. I'm not talking about, you know, the fun sports convertible that they have. I'm talking about the Swedish touring car racer that was a Volvo C30. If you've ever seen clips of them, those things scream, they howl, and they're naturally aspirated. If I can find an engine builder who can build me a good motor that revs to the moon and sounds epic, that might be a long-term thing for me. Again, that's probably gonna come with a massive price tag. So we're gonna have to cross that bridge when we get there. But I don't know, what do you guys think? 300 plus horsepower, naturally aspirated, a sound that tingles the gods. I think that would be a really, really cool build if it can be done. But let me know down in the comments below. I love to hear from you. For this video, guys, that's gonna do it. I wanna thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you ring the bell so you get all the Shifting Lanes 2 content as we release it. As for this video, that's a wrap, and I'll catch you next time.